Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and top Windy City officials on Thursday responded to the arrival of 75 primarily Venezuelan border crossers, bussed in by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Calling the Lone Star State governor's actions, quote, racist and xenophobic, Lightfoot pledged to be welcoming to the migrants who had crossed the border illegally into the United States. In the past few weeks, Abbott has roiled blue city mayors with his plan to, quote, bring the border to them. He has put illegal border crossers on buses and sent them to Washington, D.C., New York, and now Chicago. On Wednesday, he claimed to have a list of cities he'd be sending the migrants. Since President Biden took office, over 3 million illegal border crossings have been registered, causing significant infrastructural strain on border communities and political shifts in South Texas to Republicans. The GOP has sought to make illegal immigration a key issue in advance of the midterms, claiming all communities are border communities. Democrats have accused Republicans of inhumane and unwelcome attitudes toward the undocumented, and have accused Abbott of using desperate migrants as political pawns.
You know, I was struck when I walked into this room and I looked at the folks here. It feels like we are in a chapel and we are the chorus. We are the chorus that has come together to sing a song of partnership, collaboration, and unity. A song of welcome for our brothers and sisters who are now here in our city and traveling from far away, looking for and seeking the same thing that all of us want: peace, safety, shelter, be able to raise their children in a way that they have the ability to prosper. And that, to me, is really what this moment is about. We are Chicago, a welcoming city, a city where we live our values every single day, a city where immigrants and refugees have been a part of the fabric of the city from our earliest days. Last night, we showed our mettle, the best of who we are. We have organized and collaborated and come together to ensure that a group of migrants from Venezuela would have food, clothing, and shelter. And that's what we do, because this is who we are as Chicagoans. I want to next thank our many partners. And I will read a formal list in a moment, but I have to start with thanking several people in the mayor's office who have been working tirelessly for some time. Paul Goodrich, our Chief Operations Officer, Tina Holland, our Chief Engagement Officer, Nubia Willman, the head of our Office of New Americans, Darcy Flynn, the head of our Gender-Based Violence Initiatives, Maria Martinez of our IGA team. I also want to thank Commissioner Brandy Kanazi and the team at the Department of Family and Support Services. They have been working tirelessly doing yeoman's work. I also want to thank Director Rich Gaitis of the OEMC for his always outstanding leadership in coordinating and rallying city services. Rich, thank you as well. I am joined, as you can see, by local, state, and federal community leaders to discuss last night's arrival of the migrants who were bussed here to our city, and reiterate our continued commitment to being a welcoming city for all. 75 individuals were dropped off at Union Station. The conclusion of what I can only imagine was a confusing, distressing, and mentally exhausting half-day traveling across our country after a long journey to even get here. The city, which has been preparing for this day for some time, quickly collaborated across various departments and agencies to ensure that we greeted them with dignity, respect, and importantly, with resources. And we understand that many of these individuals who are, as you heard, primarily from Venezuela, are fleeing violent, traumatic, and otherwise unsustainable environments in their home countries. And will continue to respond, and we will continue to respond with essential services while they can navigate their next steps of their journey. This is a very important moment for our city to stand up and unite and help these individuals start the next chapter of their lives on solid ground and solid footing. For decades, our city has been a sanctuary for thousands of newcomers. And every year, our city welcomes hundreds of migrants and provides them with much needed assistance. And when I say our city, I don't just mean our city government. I mean community-based organizations, our neighbors, stand up and rally to support. We saw that last year with Afghanis who are fleeing the terrible violence and the destruction in their home country. We've seen that more recently with Ukrainians who are coming here to join family members in many instances. But whether they join family or not, we welcome them with open arms. The assistance that we provide by our community partners who have been working diligently to ensure our safety net is woven together as tightly as possible to support each and every one of our new neighbors. It's thanks to their efforts, complemented by the city's resources, that immigrants and refugees who arrive here, and certainly last night, and their families did receive the shelter, food, and most importantly, protection. Let me say loud and clear to Greg Abbott and his enablers in Texas. With these continued political stunts, Governor Abbott has confirmed what unfortunately many of us had already known, that he is a man without any morals, humanity, or shame. Instead of treating these individuals with respect that they deserve, the due process that our laws require, Governor Abbott chose instead to inhumanely load them onto buses, send them on a more than 12-hour journey across a country that they don't know, and to drop them off without any regard for what the next steps are. Folks, these are human beings, moms and dads, young children, elders, who deserve our respect and dignity. They're not cargo. They are not chattel. They're human beings, just like you and me. Governor Abbott's racist and xenophobic practices of expulsion have only amplified the challenges many of these migrants have experienced on their journey to find a safe place. The governor's actions are not just inhumane, they are unpatriotic. This cannot be who we are as Americans. We have to stand for a different and better set of principles. If we are going to be a leader in the world, on the international stage, but even here at home, we must reject these policies and practices and say, as Americans, we must do better. I also want to say shame on the bus companies, who frankly are just as complicit in being a part of this indignity. And while there's no way that we can fully make up for the cruelty that our new neighbors have experienced, what we have and will continue to do is welcome them with open arms and refuse to turn our backs on them in a time when they need support the most. So I do want to formally thank all of the community partners and organizations who've been providing and will continue to provide this needed support. And many of them are with us here today. Let me start, of course, with the Salvation Army. Thank you. Catholic Charities, the Resurrection Project, National Immigrant and Justice Center, NIJC, the Hannah Center, Erie Neighborhood House, Rincon Family Services, Onward House, Metropolitan Family Services Legal Aid Society, ICER, Interfaith Coalition for Detained Immigrants, Erie Family Health Centers, Esperanza Health Centers, American Business Immigration Coalition, Pilsen Neighbors Community Council, Family Focus, and Panas in Chicago. I must also thank the state, led by, of course, Governor Pritzker, and you'll hear from Deputy Governor Saul Flores in a moment. I also want to thank President Preckwinkle and Cook County government, who have also stepped up in really important ways in this moment. I also want to thank Alderman Nugent for her support and for her continued leadership in welcoming these migrants to our city and her ward. We are standing in her ward today. I also want to thank other City Council colleagues, including Alderman Merboyos, who is also here with us today. Though Senator Durbin, Duckworth, and Representative Schakowsky could not be in attendance, their unwavering support, we couldn't do this work without them. I also want to thank them for everything that they do to continue advocating for immigration rights here in Illinois, and for the staff who are here today that they sent representing our federal delegation. Thanks to each and every one of them. Folks, this is, as I said, an important moment in our city's history. We're going to look back on this chapter, I am confident, with great pride because of what all of us, the collective we, have and will continue to do to stand tall in this moment and make sure that we live our values as a welcoming city. Now, with that, I'd like to welcome to the microphone Ted Berger, who is from Cook County and is a board executive director of emergency management and regional security. Ted is here on behalf of President Preckwinkle. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the introduction.